Shalom, all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Kodash. Double honor to the elders and the apostles of the great millstone, and salutations to all you sincere guys. This is your brother Bawan back again with another video through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai. And this is the book of Isaiah, chapter 6, verse 2. Above it stood the seraphims, each one had 6 wings. With twain he covered his face, and with twain he covered his feet, and with twain he did fly. And one cried unto another and said, Holy, holy is Yahweh of hosts, the whole earth is full of his glory. And once again, all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Hashem, Raka, Kodash. And the main point I wanted to get right there is in Isaiah 6, verse 3, right? Because I was just meditating on something while I was walking down the streets, trying to think of a video to do. And basically, what is strange to me that you have all these scientist types, right? The scholars of this world, and you have the major reason why you see these unbelievers or the atheists, right? As it's written, the fool saith in his heart, there is no God. Let's get that precept. Let's get that precept. Then you bring that out, right? Because let's see, there it is. This is what I'm looking for. This is exactly what I'm looking for. This is the book of Psalms 53, verse 1. To the chief musician upon Mahalath, Mashil, a psalm of David. The fool had said in his heart, there is no power. Corrupt are they, and have done abominable iniquity. There is none that doeth good. Right, and like I was saying, all these scholars and scientists types, the ones that believe that they are knowledgeable in this world. And it's funny that you would have these scientists that have peered into the looking glass, so to speak. They have seen, the deeper part. They have a deeper understanding of basic things, of different things, of a variety of things. Like, I didn't mean basic things. What I meant was a variety of things, right? Whether it's, to look out the telescope and see into outer space, allegedly, of course, to know the inner workings of a cell, the smallest units of creation, the atoms and matter and molecules and things like that. Scientists that have split atoms, right? And what all these fields of sciences, right, especially the what they call it again, the hard sciences. What these hard scientific fields? Let me just quickly Google that. What sciences are hard sciences, right? What are considered hard sciences? Let's just quickly Google that. And here it is. Any of the natural or physical sciences, chemistry, biology, physics, or astronomy. And the thing is that all these, scientific fields that rely on chemistry, biology, physics, or astronomy has very, very complex calculations that need to be done as accurately as possible. And the thing is this, the math is mathing, but yet nobody ever thinks that, there has to be a reason for that, right? If you go into fields like physics and chemistry, no matter what, there is something, if you go into fields like physics and chemistry, there's something called a constant, right? And basically what that constant means is never changing, and that constant is referring to certain values that no matter where you go, no matter what happens, they will always be the same. They never change. And the thing is this, you have a whole lot of scientific theory and a whole lot of scientific discoveries that hinge upon those constants existing. You even have equations that always work. Physics, chemistry, or biology or astronomy, there are equations, there are theories, there are laws that always stay, that always work. The laws of motion, right? The laws of gravity, the laws of physics, all these things. There was Esau, and his scientists, his scientists, his scholars, right? His prognostic, his Chaldeans, basically, which are basically what these scientists are. At the end of the day, they are still, low-level sorcerers, but that's beside the point. They can trust in all these laws and all these equations, all these calculations. Let me give you some examples of equations. Let's keep it simple because I used to be really into science back in the day, right? If I got into this truth, when I'm not really deep into science like that, so let's give a few examples of some equations. Like for example, just do a simple, the calculation for speed, calculation for things like speed, velocity, acceleration, and things like that. Let's just go in. And you'll see different equations, and all these equations always work, right? They have their different equations, they have their different equations, different parameters, that's the values that you put in order to calculate, and the unit of measurement, and all these measurements are always accurate. So basically, you can use even math, right, to prove that there is a power, there is a God, because no matter where you go into, and let me start from this first, let me start from this. Constants. Yes, that's what I'm looking for. Google always works from time to time, but let's just get this right. There are constants in physics, meaning that there are things that no matter what, no matter where you go, all right, anywhere in the world, anywhere in the world, that these numbers always stay the same. So the speed of light, which is basically 3 multiplied by 10 raised to power 8, meter per second, right, which is the speed of light. Now is roughly 300. It's kind of difficult to calculate, but I think it's roughly 300 million. Yeah, roughly, it should be roughly 300, sorry, not 300 million, but 300 million meters per second, which is basically how fast light moves in the air, right? Planck's constant, gravitational constant, the different, I don't want to go into all of them, but different values that show you that, look, I show you that there are let me just get this preset. Let me just get this preset. And there are ordinances, right? That the most high Yahweh Hashem stuck on the earth. And there are, I don't know the best terminology to use for this. And basically, the math is mathing, right? You calculate for you calculate for a certain value. You want to calculate the speed in which something is moving. You can do that. You want to calculate the speed at which something falls on the earth due to gravity. You can do that. If you want to calculate the speed at which the earth rotates around the sun, or other planets rotate around the sun, you can do that. Why is the reason why you have all these mathematical equations, you have all these laws in science that exist and work every single time without fail, right? At least the laws that have been proven, because Israel will be doing some pseudoscience from time to time. But let's just then leave aside some of the other laws that Esau has that are questionable. But let's go into the ones that we know that actually work. The laws of motion, for example, and even the gravitational laws as well, and even some of the laws concerning chemistry, like mixing concerning chemistry, like mixing different chemicals together. You mix, you mix, the mixture of hydrogen and oxygen is a little bit more complex than just mixing the two together, but you get the point, right? All these laws, they always work in every single instant. They are applicable for any situation. But yet, none of you scientists, right? None of you physicists, you chemists, you biologists, no matter what field of science you are in, ever thought, why is it how can this be? What is the reason why these laws always work, these equations always work? They are able to even you know, rest and trust in these things, because here you have, as the scriptures say, you are trusting the creation, believing in the creation more than the creator. Because these scientists out here, and I'm sure that you all can have seen different videos of these physics teachers that are trying to explain, the different laws in physics, or how some objects move or work in physics, and we just show you an example of that. There are like perpetual motion machines, right? How the swing of a pendulum operates and things like that. And they trust in those things. They done it so many times that they believe that, oh, it will always work, right? They trust more in the creation more than the creator. And these equations, these formulas, these laws that they discovered, and the Most High Yahweh Shai set up, right? Because if you, as a non-believer, you believe that over all these things just happen, the whole world just happens by randomness. It was a big bang, and then randomness, and it was a big bang and complete entropy. because that's how these atheists and these unbelievers think that the universe and everything was created by entropy. Why is it that you still have all the you are able to calculate and you're able to solve, you know, you're able to calculate motion, you're able to solve different parameters and different values of things, different values for things that happen every single day, right? You can even, to a certain extent, you can predict the weather. To a certain extent, you can even keep tab on the date and the time and the changing of seasons. How is it possible if there was no creator? How is it possible if, you know, everything just randomly happened? It was a random occurrence. How is it that the universe and the world is so perfectly ordered that you can have laws that are set in place that always, they, like once again, we know that some of the laws that Esau Edom pushes in science, they are complete pseudoscience, but there are laws that always work and have been shown to be consistent. How is it that these laws are able to be consistent and continuously stay constant, meaning that they always apply to, they always apply to whatever situation that they need to apply to. Once again, the laws of motion, right? For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. Einstein's theory of relativity and things like that. Those are just the simple ones. There are other laws like I'm not really too sure about them anymore. But I haven't really been going too deep into the physics like that. But why is it that all these things can be right? And it just and all these things are able to be without there being a higher power in charge of making sure that all these laws and all these equations that you scientists have actually work, because that's something that these unbelievers, right, you atheist types, should never think about. And this is the book of Second Peter 3. It's like Second Peter 3 verse 5. For this they willingly are ignorant of, that by the word of the Most High, Yahweh Shai, the heavens were of old, and the earth standing out of the water and in the water. In other words, it is the word of the Most High, Yahweh Shai, that is holding together the whole universe, right? The word of the Most High, Yahweh Shai, continue on. Second Peter 3 verse 6, whereby the world that then was being overflowed with water perished, but the heavens and the earth, which are now by the same word, are kept in store, reserved unto fire against the day of judgment and perdition of ungodly men. Right, so all these laws and equations, and different theories and quote unquote sciences that you people of this world have discovered or invented. Really, all that is the order that the Most High Yahweh Shai had set up on the earth, right? And it's a damn shame that you can understand so deeply, the inner workings of this earth, the Most High Yahweh Shai has created, and trust in these equations. Neil deGrasse Tyson, for example, physicist right there, certified genius, but yet he still chooses to say that the Most High Yahweh Shai is not real, does not exist, even with everything that he has seen. And even he understands that there is nothing in this entire universe that is just random, that cannot be scientifically, explained away, or at least or at least understood to some extent, right? But yet he still wants to say that these things just happen, that there is no power, that there is no power. The Most High power is not behind it, or is not the one that set up or set these things up in that order. Let's go back to the book of Genesis, the first chapter, because this is how the universe as a whole was created. Genesis 1 verse 1, and of course the scripture simplifies it, but the more complex workings of reality, right, are not really, the more complex workings of reality is something that we can't really grasp our heads around. And a simple example to explain, how little we do understand of the world and how are we living in it in the flesh right now is simply, if you can count from 1 to 1,000, right? Everybody can count from 1 to 1,000, but if you count it individually, as you go from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and keep going like that all the way to 1,000, you won't be able to, right? Because of course, either you get distracted and something will stop you, you get interrupted by somebody. You're like, if unless you're willing to go into a room and just spend a couple of minutes, willing to count from 1 to 1,000, and now do it again. All right, you can count from 1 to 1,000. Now count from 1 to 1 million, and that's where it ends because there is no way that you can count, each single digit from 1 to 1 million. That shows you how little, or how little that we can grasp on this side with this flesh, right? So all these things have been done by the Messiah, however, Hashem Yahushai, and we just simplified in the scriptures because at the end of the day, right, knowing the size of an atom or knowing how to split an atom or knowing how to basically genetically modify a cell is not going to help you be delivered. Being a scholar or being wise in this world, in this kingdom, is not going to help you be delivered. Genesis 1 verse 1, in the beginning, the Most High, Yahweh Shai created the heaven and the earth. And when he talks about the heavens here, and I think it should also be mentioned in different commentaries, that the heavens really represents the entire universe, that the stars, the sun, the moon, everything outside of the earth, everything from the atmosphere on up, right? And the word here for heavens in the Hebrew is Shamayam, and which is as the visible universe, sky, atmosphere, etc. And I have to go right there because I have to be quick with this one, Salakia. So I'm just going to get that right. So that is the point of the Most High Yahweh Hashem was the one that created the heavens and the earth. Okay. So with that, I'll also have to end the video right here once again. All praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'asham, Ba'ashai, Ba'asham, Rakah, Kwadash, Wa Abad Baba, Shalom.